Okay, so what I'm looking at here is I have dry fitted, so to speak, the firewall, the lower cowl, and the upper cowl. And it looks like when it's pretty much correct, I mean, I can pinch it down and everything, but the firewall, you have to make sure it's at the right elevation, you know, the right height. As far as the front, you know, you can pretty much just pinch them flanges straight against this, you know, edge. You can pull the flanges up against it, and that's fine. I just gotta get the height right. But it looks like the height, if you have it slightly above here, so it kind of transitions down and would, you know, basically intersect somewhere around where my fingernail is right there, not the edge, but, you know, back behind a little bit to have it, you know, kind of transition down. This would have to be kind of knocked down and somehow maybe be seat a little lap joint or something there anyway. But so that comes over to there. I have some of my gold highlighter here, or Sharpie here, that some of it's pretty good for where the lower unit goes. The upper one looks slightly crooked to the right. It looks like it's off to the driver's side slightly. Because if you look down the line and you look where the middle rib and the vent in the dash is, it looks like it's to the left of that line. Could be a little bit of glare working against me too, but it doesn't seem perfect. So I'm gonna have to see if I can square it up a little bit when I go to put it on for real. Just remember to do that. And the same thing over here. This one here, this firewall is mounted above the bracket slightly. So it doesn't come down to the intersect, it comes up to where it lines up over on the edge if it was to keep transitioning. That way the lower cowl can sit there and kind of slide across the whole top and actually kind of more intersect with its edge over here than sit flush on it. So, and then back here, this stuff looks like it's pretty good overall. But again, this one sticks out way further than that one. It could just be the stamping, that's the problem. So if you pinch this down, yes, there's some overlap, but there was a lot of overlap on the original. It really looks good in here. It can pinch down pretty easy, and from the bottom it looks really good because it looks like the lower is actually tying in, or actually flush up against this lower part of the upper up here, so the lower surface of this, because that's where my holes will have to be drilled through here to tie into it. So what I'll do is, once I get the lower installed, you know, permanently, I'll put the upper on, square up to where it needs to be, then go underneath it, Sharpie line it, put dashes where I want my spot welds, and then come back up here and transfer them, and just come up and transfer them from the bottom up. So it won't be the end of the world, it'll work. Because I can just transfer them to the bottom of this, take it off, flip it over, drill the holes. That should work. But yeah, it really doesn't look bad. I mean, it's holding there pretty well. I do need to clean up that edge a little bit, try to you know, straighten it out a little bit more. It's got little dings in it. But yeah, like I said, this side doesn't stick out as far right here. It's really a lot closer to being flush here. But again, I mean, these are Chinese stamping, so who knows? So that should be it. So what I'm gonna do now, and again, this one is squared up against that interface with that front flange of the firewall, you know, tying in, you know, to the back of this lip. So, which is fine. So what I'm gonna do is pull everything off and then cut the frame and yank the front end off, because now I know roughly where it belongs. I did check my dimensions from here to this corner right here when I had it installed earlier, and it's a little long, but this whole portion here is starting to shift forward because I cut it to get away from the firewall. So I can push it up by hand and it gets back to my, whatever the dimension was, like 44 and something or whatever. But anyway, 44 and a half or something, and this side's like 44 and 5/8. But this side's a little close, staying in a little tighter because it's not, for some reason it's rotted worse at the bottom, but it's just staying in place a little better. But I'm gonna get this thing off of there, get it out of the way, and then cut that inner rocker out. I'm gonna get that front end off, and then probably cut some of the more of the floor out to get more room to work in there, and then I'm gonna take that inner rocker out. So most of it, I'll start chopping on this thing to get it ready. I already have one ordered, so it should be here in a few days, and I'll just try to replace as much of it as I can. So really, I just need to start removing the floor, take it all the way back to here, bring it, you know, the whole freaking back floor, get that thing out of there, and give myself plenty of working room. That way I can go clean up the other side a little better and everything, get it treated for rust and so on and so forth, primed, and be good. So, and then when I'm doing all that, I'll have to look at the rear torque boxes and the frame and everything, figure out what I'm doing there, if I'm going to replace them or not. Don't know yet. So But I really want to look at this rocker once I get everything out of the way to see, you know, I may have a huge rust hole behind the seat support for all I know, seat platform. So I know this one's bad because it's got some holes in it, but that one's not from what it looks like, but still a lot of cleanup to do. So fun.